Hello, welcome back to A&R's Super Sunday Q&A. Hope you all had a good week. It's great to be back for the third show of the series. And with me, as always, is Ryan. How are you, mate?
Yeah, oh God, we've had a bit of bombardment of messages from things to up on social media, but yeah, apart from that, all good. So Jesus is confirmed. Bar Arsenal, it's confirmed now. So
Yeah,
for the door.
yeah, that'd be a big signing that we want to get out the way, wouldn't it? So
Mm.
it's, well, that sounds bad to say to get out the way, but you know what I mean. To get that over the line, and so we can move on to other targets like the Rafinha one and
Mm.
others that have been linked with
Martinez.
Martinez and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That would be really, really good. And like I say, I think he'll fit into the team absolutely seamlessly, personally, Gabriel Jesus. So let's hope that there's no last minute hiccups on that one then. But yeah, like I say, I think we've agreed the fee and everything like that. And it's hopefully, touch wood, there's not much more to go that can go wrong with it moving forward. But yeah, let's crack on with the show. We've had a question or two. You mentioned one that you found as well online. So if you want to start us off, Ryan.
Yeah, it's from Chris Bollard. He's asking, how do you feel about fans already saying that with these signs, Arteta should get a minimum of top four, or he should be sacked?
Um, oh yeah, I do think we need to aim for top four, but I don't. But there are some caveats in there. I mean, it's not a guaranteed situation to get top four with and Ryan's gone. I'll continue with my answer. Um, it's not guaranteed that we're going to get top four, despite whatever we do in the transfer market, because there's so many other good teams also strengthening out there. But say for argument's sake, we just narrowly missed out on top four purely because of the quality of the opposition, but we went on and won the Europa League. Then I certainly wouldn't want him sacked in that situation.
No.
So there's certain caveats. I don't think top four is the be all and end all, dependent on what we do elsewhere. I mean, there's 3 cups to go for. I'd love us to win more silverware. That's what football's all about for me. It's not just about where you finish in the league. I mean, is it a better season if you finish fourth but with no silverware, or whether you finish fifth and you get a couple to? For me, it's the second one, because I think football's all about winning trophies. So that's where I stand. I mean, where do you stand?
I'm pretty much the same ilk. I mean, the pressures. I said before at the end of last season, it's basically in terms of everyone involved at the club, and Kroenke's involved in this as well. It was make or break, because the cynic in me, and as you know, I've said this plenty of times, there's a cynical part of me that thought last summer's spending was due to them trying to keep us quiet on the backlash of what happened in the Super League debacle. So it was huge. They had to. It was either make or break, either step up again and back the manager, or if they didn't, face the wrath of the fan base. And it looks like that. And again, they've backed him last year, 150 million. It looks like we'll be spending around about that and more this year. So over the course of 2 summers, we'll be close to around 400 million, close to, depending on how much we spend in this summer. Pressure's on him now. It's all on him, because he can't say he's not being backed. Unlike when Miami was here, we can actually say, to be fair, he asked the players he didn't get. It seems from day one, Arteta's after a player, and 9 times out of 10, he's got them. No questions asked, basically. And we're doing, and especially this year, we've gone early. We're getting our business done before the pre-season to even get underway. If obviously Jesus gets announced in the next couple of days or so officially by the club, going by who we've been linked with, all we've got to do is get Rafinha dealt with and Martinez from Ajax. That's most of our business done, assuming we're going back in for Tielemans at the end of it all.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's huge because, again, as I say, he's being backed. It's not just being backed. It's Premier League. We're getting Premier League proven players, and the majority of the incomings that are coming in by the looks of it. A couple of outsiders in terms of if it goes ahead, the Martinez deal and Fabio Vieira. The majority of our signings are Premier League proven now. It's in terms of squad depth and experience, something we lacked last year.
Yeah.
And we're in an extra competition now compared to last year. So the pressure's been on from day dot, especially with the favourable start to the season that we've been given. If we're being brutally honest here, if we don't get off to a good start and we're not in and around, either in the top four or just outside it by the time World Cup hits, you know what our fan base and the media are going to do. They're going to crucify him.
He knows that, obviously, and I think everyone knows that, really. He's under a lot of pressure to deliver, but like I say, it's just the way that the question was worded. We all want improvement, further improvement from last season. But like I said, just to say again, if he wins like the Europa League, but just finishes outside the top four, then I'm certainly not. I'm going to be rejoicing. I'm not going to be calling for his head in that case. I'm going to be backing him even more than I do. You know.
Yeah, if anyone's calling for if that was to happen, obviously if he finished up by a point, for example, but won the Europa League and got us in the Champions League that route, but we won silverware by doing that. Anyone in their right mind can't be calling for his head. They can't because he's won something. He's got us back in the Champions League, but he's won us a trophy as well.
Exactly.
A European trophy at that, something we've won since '94.
Exactly. It's all hypothetical, but I mean, like I say, it depends. The question to the answer is it depends. If we win nothing and we don't improve from last season after all the backing that he's had, he's going to be under severe pressure. But we'll have to see how it unravels. Another question from Twitter, which is by T, who is at Man on Pod Thomas. Would you go for Tielemans this summer or keep Xhaka for another year, hope to get Champions League football, and go for someone better than Tielemans next summer?
I'll go for Tielemans now, just because he's got a year left. The year left his contract currently?
Yeah.
Go for him now. The only thing that's sort of stalled at the moment is apparently, from what I'm hearing, is the agents asking for a bit more of a fee for them. So we sort of want to get everything else done. We go back and deal with them later. Sort of, I think that's how it's come about. But I'd go and get him. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago on this show. Someone asked if we were to bring in Tielemans, would it be the end of Partey? And we said it would actually be the end of Xhaka.
Yeah, definitely.
I would go and get Tielemans because it gives us, with all due respect to Granit and all that, not just Tielemans got a better disciplined record. It just gives our midfield a bit more balance as a whole for the trio that we'd have going forward in terms of we'd have Partey as the anchor of the pivot. He'll obviously stay back, and then Tielemans would move slightly forward as a link up between the midfield and Odegaard in the attack. Which is the attack, and you look at the attack potentially, is going to be lethal, even more lethal next season. There's going to be a lot of goals coming from this, hopefully, touch wood.
Exactly, yeah. I think that the clue there is in the question is hope that we keep Xhaka for another year and hope we get Champions League football. I think we can't just hope that we get Champions League football. We need to give ourselves the absolute best opportunity of getting Champions League football.
Yeah.
And like you said, no disrespect to Xhaka. I think we've seen the best 2 seasons of him since we've had him over the last couple. And he's been good for us. But we need to take things further forward now. And we need to upgrade wherever we see possible upgrades available. And for me, there is an upgrade opportunity there with Xhaka. So every day of the week, we go for Tielemans. I mean, or someone that we've not even thought of yet, someone else for that particular role. Zinchenko, for example, could be another option. But I do think we still need to go and get someone there. for me. That's definite. And Steve, the Arsenal Misfit, thanks for joining us, Steve, again. And he said, so we have our man in the middle, great news, but I still think we need another striker to be a target man in a plan B. That's just not Nketiah. I personally think if we get Rafinha, that is that other striker for me.
Yeah.
I think he's the other striker opportunity. I've mentioned it before. When we brought in, I'm not comparing the two players at this stage whatsoever, but when we brought in Henry, he was a wide player who ended up converted into being a striker. I don't know whether that's going to be the case for him particularly, but I think that he's another one that could play that role for something different up front. I think he's not only going to be playing on the right in the sort of Saka position at the moment, but I think he could be that man as well. What about you?
Yeah, I reckon so as well, because he said about Henry, Freddie Lundberg came in as a striker, signed as a striker, got converted into a winger. Lovren was a central midfield, converted into a right back.
We had Walcott, Dillian and Daly in between the two.
Between the two, he couldn't make his mind down. When he wanted the contract, he wanted to be a striker. As soon as he got the contract, no one would be a winger again.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it? Oxlade-Chamberlain, he was a midfielder for us, but obviously Wenger, the last knockings of Oxlade's time at Arsenal, was put out on the wing because of his pace and athleticism he had there. Ainsley, most recently, even though he wants to be a midfielder, he's been converted in against his will as a right back, so that's left back, wing back, whatever you want to call it. So there's history there, even recent history, where we have that versatility. We can convert players from one. They might come through or be brought in, as I said, position, but we mould them into a new position and a new style of play. I mean, even Bukayo Saka broke through. Yeah, he broke through as a winger, but there's times where he's had to play left wing back for the club. And Arteta's early days at the club, and now he's on the right wing at the moment, obviously. And people, obviously, in terms of Rafinha as well, having a meltdown. Oh, if we get Rafinha, that's the end of Saka. I mean, that's not the case at all. As you say, we could literally get Rafinha and go, okay, you're the target man as a striker now. You are now going to be our striker. A competition between you and say Jesus for striker, or there could be times when Rafinha's out on that right wing. We can put Saka out on the left. Tactically, there's going to be a lot of switching around to find the right formation for the right game at the right time. It's not going to be a set trio, and they've got to stay in that position, them positions throughout the entire game. They're going to be switching around like you wouldn't believe.
Exactly. And once we've got, touch wood, if we get the deals over the line for Jesus and Rafinha, then the thing that we really need to do then is make sure that we are as creative as possible, and that does include this position that we were just talking about Tielemans, someone equally as creative on that side as Ødegaard can be on the other side. And we're going to have the people to finally put the ball in the back of the net, but we need to supply them. So whether that is Tielemans or another, we definitely need that position, in my opinion, to be filled.
Yeah,
I mean, I do think it's a great idea to be going after this Lisandro Martinez as well, because we all know what happens with Tierney from time to time throughout the season. So I think that's a really good purchase if we can get him over the line. But I equally think it's just as important to get this person to play left 8 as well. Whether that can be, as whether he can dip in and out of that position as well. Smith Rowe, which I'd like to see him have a run there at some point, or even Fabio Vieira, whether he can do it at some point as well.
He's another one, Fabio Vieira, who's brought in. His reputation is, he likes to be out in the wing, but he can play across the front three and in where the guy plays as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you watched the interview he did on the Arsenal website. Where he said, I prefer to be the player that breaks the lines, basically plays the ball and breaks in between the lines and all that. So something we have, again, apart from Ødegaard, we haven't really got the club at the moment. So again, we look at all these players we're looking to bring in or we've brought in already. They're all versatile players, and not one of them you can say bang, they are an out-and-out midfield, centre back or left back. They're literally the most versatile. You couldn't be more versatile if you tried.
Exactly. That's what that's exactly what he's trying to do with regards to emulate what they've got up in Manchester, on the blue half of Manchester as well, with that kind of signing. Welcome, Russ, as well. Great to see you there, mate. He's got a question in the box. What's the future for Balogun this season? I mean, for me, I'll start off. I just think that I really do hope that he gets another season on loan somewhere to have a full season. Wales, in the previous show, you might remember, I was talking whether it might be the better idea to keep him until January and then loan him out then, because of the massive amount of football we've got in the run-up to the World Cup, with the Europa League group stage being completed at that point. Would he, if he went on loan for the whole season, this is the question I've got in my head, would he get the same amount of football that he could get by playing the Carabao Cup games for Arsenal and all of the Europa League games for Arsenal? If he went to another club, for example, would they have immediate trust in him to start games straight away so that he could get all those games under his belt before the World Cup kicks off? That's the question. But at the same time, if Eddie's not getting starts in the game, in the team, in those games as well, he would be the one to start in all of those games I just mentioned, all the cup games and the Europa League games. So the more I mull it over, the more I think that it would be a better idea to send Balogun on loan for the whole season, personally, so that he can get another very good season under his belt, hopefully start banging in some goals, either for a championship, top half championship chasing team, or sort of middle to lower league, sort of Premier League team. Personally, that's what I would prefer. What about you?
You know what? I would actually, because like you said, I'll keep him till January at the very least, because it's going to be, once the season starts, it is going to be gaming. It's going to be a game. We'll have games every other day, pretty much. I was going to feel like that anyway in terms of Arsenal. It's going to be literally like 2-3 games in. Then you got to do European competition starting early as well because of the World Cup, and then when that gets underway, apart from when the League Cup we enter the third round or whatever, it's literally your match day 1, match day 3, match day 4, match day 5, match day 6, all literally week after week after week after week, respectively. So that all the games are being crammed in. We are going to need rotation, and it makes sense to have someone like Balogun in the Europa League squad group stage and in the early round of the League Cup. Just give him that game time there, gives the Premier League 11 the starters there the midweek respite that they are going to need, because it is going to be that intense. Then come January, the window opens again for the winter. Reassess things, see where we are as a club, see where he is in terms of his game time. If he wants to stay and have a fight for the FA Cup and this on the odd game here and then in the league, and see. Also, another thing we've got to do. If there's anyone interested, make sure they're the right fit for what we want to get from him. If that makes sense. Don't just send him to any club, like a bog standard championship club, with all due respect. Send him somewhere where he's actually going to get that game time, because that's a thing with the Borough deal. It did take a bit of time for him to get into the matchday squad properly, just to get himself settled in.
Yeah,
we need to send him off somewhere. I don't mind if it's one of the teams at the bottom half of the league or a team in the champion. I don't care where it is, as long as it's the right fit and he's going to actually get the game time. Because that's where we've gone. We went wrong with him last year in terms of Barkley. It did take time, and we went wrong with Miguel Aziz as well. We sent him out to Pompey, and basically he didn't. We had to call him back after halfway through the season because we weren't getting the game time.
I think with both of them, with Aziz and Balogun, I think it was quite a good choice to start off with. It just didn't quite work out as planned.
It made sense at the time, but I'm saying
it did, because
just do our checks. Time and time again, we're getting word on. We're getting the gentleman's handshake off. Yeah, of course we'll give them game time, no problem. Get them, send them over there and get them the game time. We saw it with Eddie as well. I know he had Bamford in front of him, but it's just, and the Leeds fans love him as well, even now, Eddie. But he just never got a chance at Leeds. And again, we had to. Arteta comes in, see that's happening, calls him back. But we've repeated that same mistake a couple of times now. We just need to do a due diligence this time, come January. And if there's no one suited, that will definitely guarantee him some game time, even if it's a mid-table championship team. Keep him back, because I don't want us to send him out for the sake of sending him out.
No,
that doesn't benefit anyone in the situation.
No, exactly. He doesn't have to be named in a 25-man squad either because of his age. But it'd have to be, for me, a championship team that are going to be pushing for playoffs or even automatic promotion, so that he is going to get fed a lot of chances to score goals. I don't want him in a struggling team where they're going to be really struggling to create chances for him. I don't think that's going to benefit him too much.
No. And also, I think we haven't really touched it. Premier League-wise, the 5 sub-awards been brought in, hasn't it? So that's to think about as well. Maybe he could be named occasionally on the bench against the likes of the Nottingham Forest, of all due respect, like the teams that have just come up or the teams that are struggling, home or away. Just name him on the bench, and if there's something he can sort of help benefit us in certain games, is a good option to bring on, because it's an unknown quantity that he won't know how to approach that with. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Mr. Bungle. Welcome to Troy. Welcome to Shane. Thank you ever so much for all you for joining us. Steve's put, my worry is that Arteta might overthink and complicate things with all these multi-positional players. Do you think there is anybody in the coaching staff that could get him to keep it simple? Simple answer to that, no. I don't think so. I think he's like the overriding iron fist type of guy. Personally, I think that's the way he comes across. I think Albert Stevenberg is, I don't think he's the type to really challenge him as such. I don't think he comes across as that type of guy. So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But I don't know. I think he's finally getting the team that he really wants, with all the players that he really wants to play the way that he really wants. So I'm more encouraged by that, really. I think we've all seen in flashes the type of exciting football that we can play and what we're capable of and what he's looking to do. And I think with these additions that he's making now, they really do fit that style of play. And he wants to keep the ball, but defend by keeping the ball like Man City do. If you can't get the ball off us and we've got the ball in their half, then they can't score. And remember that comment he made about 300,000 passes or something after one of the games, that he hasn't got the players to do that at the moment. That's what he wants to create. And the players that he's buying is that type of player. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes, really. Shane's put interesting one. What's the price of the new jersey in the UK? In Ireland, it's €90, and to get my 2 boys a jersey, it's 70 each, so that's €230. I will buy them, but why are they so expensive? I don't know why they're so expensive. It's just ridiculous prices, and it shows you. This one, it's an original jersey, but I got it recently from Kitbag for £20, and they obviously made a decent profit on that by selling it to me for £20. So it just shows you the markup on these things. But the basic jersey without any badges or name on the back, if you buy it from the Armoury, is £70. I don't know what that equates to in euros. So,
yeah.
But I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm happy to say I've actually recently taken delivery of 2 jerseys. One retro jersey, which is the red currant last of season at Highbury one, the Bergkamp on the back. Yeah, exactly. and this season's new home top with a collar.
Yeah.
And I bought them from online. I can send you the link if anyone's interested. Cost me £16 something per jersey, and the quality is absolutely fantastic. One of them, the home jersey, I had to give it to my son because he's bigger than taller than me, but he's a bit carrying a few less pounds. And I would say that you have to. It was a bit too tight for me, so you'd have to order a size up. But the quality, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You could not tell the difference, and especially the red currant one fitted me perfect. The size was perfect. And if you think about it that way, because I've got 3 kids, everyone knows that. I've talked about it before. I could get them all 3 kits. They've already got the brand new black away kit and the pink one as well. I can get them all 3 for less than the price of one shirt from the Armoury. So for me, it's a no-brainer personally. And when you can't tell the difference when you look at them, I don't see the point in paying 70 quid for a shirt when I can get it for 16 quid. Delivery was without about 2 weeks as well. So I can't grumble at that. And that's what I'll be doing, mate. I know it won't be lining KSE's pockets either.
I mean, literally, like, as I say, that the shirt you got on there, I got that last year when it came with during the Euro, just for the Euro final. And yeah, on it there no name, no nothing on the back, on the side of the back or whatever. Yeah, back then it was 60, but it's gone up a tenner. Just for that, it's gone up to 70 now. It's like £70. It's not just at Arsenal, for us to cut all the clubs in the league now.
Yeah, and it will. We put it up an extra £5 because of the charity element as well, haven't we? They're saying £5 for every shirt goes to charity, which is great.
Shirt, technically, it's a £5. It's gone up. In terms of
exactly.
Justify it as a £5 gone up, but we're paying an extra £5. So it's 7%. So technically, he's paying 65 because £5 of that goes down to their own local charities within the Borough of Islington. Sorry. And that's I'm sure they account for all the shirts as well, not just the home shirt, as and when they come out throughout the summer. But again, people know me on my channel. I think I've said it a few times here. I've been a massive advocate of back in the day, growing up, home shirts, away shirts. You get 2-3 years. They'd release one, you get 2-3 years out of it. Then they'll check. So, for example, when your home shirt changes, one that would last 2-3 years, and in the second year of that, the away shirt would change. So it'd all sort of be you get a new shirt per se, but obviously you get 2-3 years out of them back in the day, and the prices back then were like 35 quid just for a plain shirt. That's what you're wearing now. Back 10-15 years ago, but it seems. I noticed it obviously once we had Nike, because it only happened when we had Nike. It was like £35 for the shirt and all that. The second we went we obviously back in 2014 with Puma onwards, it just skyrocketed up out of control. We were getting ran down our throats. 3 different kits a season now.
I didn't buy any Puma ones.
Not including the usual merchandise. I mean, with Adidas, with Adidas deal, it seems there's something in place that come the winter, like November, December, before Christmas, they'll release that year's version of a retro range to get everyone. And it's ridiculous money. Again, it's like 100 quid. The cheapest things are 80 quid. It's not even cheap there. I have found a little knack though. Anyone that has PayPal, if you want to line the pockets of the club and all that, there is a way around it to bring the price down somewhat, but pay it off in instalments. It's a pain thing. So basically, if you have PayPal, as you're going through checkout and all that, it gives you the option of payment method. You choose PayPal, and when it logs you into your PayPal thing, it'll give you an option of obviously you can pay the full price, or if you look further down your screen, there's a thing that says paying free, 0 interest, don't pay any interest. It's literally you're paying that off, but in 3 installments. So you pay a percentage of that. We broke down in 3 payments, exactly 3 payments. So you'd be literally paying the same payment every month, but in three installments. So for example, if you wanted the home shirt that's currently out, you could pay that off in literally. It'd be cut down into 3 payments, and that might less soften the blow for you. It depends on obviously how much quantity you're bringing in as well. But just a little route round of not paying a full instalment in one hit, especially for the ones with kids and families, it sort of brings down the price a bit. Especially cost of living and all that now.
Well, exactly. Well, I've got the original home shirt as well from last season. Again from Kit Bag, and that was 36. So it's if you wanted to specifically buy the original, wait until the next season. It's another way of saving some money. But Stan said last time I saw legs like that, they were hanging out of a nest. And Russ wants to know why you put a question in saying, "Are you wearing pants?"
I'm not wearing boxers. I am wearing shorts. So I'm wearing shorts.
It's hot. Leave him alone.
Very hot. It's very hot.
Oh yeah, air fryer. I don't know how I live without my air fryer now, Mr. Bungle. It's unbelievable. I cook everything in my air fryer, and salt and pepper chicken wing sounds amazing. I have to see what I've got in the freezer. And the Arsenal Misfit said it seemed like there was a new kit released after every loss, which is very true. Very true indeed.
Especially after the Tottenham defeat, they released the latest retro range of jackets and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Go away! You've put us off to Tottenham. Piss off.
And Mr. Bungle said Ryan's wearing a thong made of licorice. A bit of sick came in my mouth there, Mr. Bungle. Thanks for that.
What floats your boat, Mr. Bungle? What floats your boat?
There was that guy in the chat for a while when he kept telling us to put our shirts on back to front. I can't remember his name.
Dean Smith.
That was weird, wasn't it? Oh yeah, Dean Smith. That's right. Yeah, the Norwich manager.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. Being Norwich.
What do you guys make of Webb being the new top ref? Will he make a difference? I'm actually quite encouraged about that. I mean, he was one of the refs I've never really had a major problem with. Not saying that's going to make him a good ref chief, if you like, but I did like the cut of his jib. He was quite often the one that was chosen to go and be the English representative in like the World Cup or the Euros, wasn't he, as well, quite often?
He got the World Cup final gig, didn't he? He got booed.
Yeah.
It's like, bloody hell.
Yeah. Well, anything's got to be better than Mike Riley.
Literally, anything's got to be better. Apparently, because it came out yesterday, what we're touching on here, about Mike Riley stepping down at the end of next season or now, whenever he's stepping down from his role. It's basically based on the investigation we had during the season of the yellow card. It's based
Granit
on
Xhaka. Yeah,
it all expected that it wasn't a player. They weren't investigating the player or whoever or the club. It was actually they're investigating the officiating. It turns out the legal betting was coming within your authority. The rules.
Wasn't it? I mean, I haven't read the full story yet as well, and I don't know who it is or anything, but I heard someone from somewhere, I can't remember where it was now, saying that 4 other people from within the PGMOL have stepped down as well, on top of Mike Riley's resignation.
We've got Mike Riley, but also you got 3 or 4 refs that have been forced into retirement, suddenly out of nowhere, retiring into the season. Mike Dean, John Moss.
Well, they're too decrepit to carry on. So.
John Moss, was it Kavanagh? I can't remember if it was Kavanagh. I can't remember now. The people in the chat might know, but there's like 4. There've been 4 referees that have been forced into retirement. They had no intention of retirement, but they announced Mike Dean announced it himself. And then I think there's 3 more at the end of the season, and then this has happened.
Oh, John Moss is about 72, so he had to retire as well.
It wasn't just his age; it was literally I don't get how he's a ref, how long he was. He's not exactly an athletic referee, so we say.
No, exactly. But it's going to be a tough job for them to suddenly find all their replacements as well overnight, pretty much. But it might force them into something. Might force them into having a rejiggle and putting in something like. Well, remember, my suggestion was like some kind of ref university can keep churning them out all the time, so they properly get taken on, and go through the system and work their way up, through the leagues quickly, fast tracked, and keep churning these guys out. So maybe they might need to do something like that. But for me, I think it's quite positive that it's him rather than someone. Because there was that rumor, I don't know where it came from, but I think I saw it on WhatsApp about Mike Dean being the one to replace Mike Riley, and that would be like out of the frying pan into the fire, wouldn't it? So to bring back Webb from the MLS, I think that's quite a good move, really.
I think initially before the Howard Webb news came out, I was in one of the group chats and I can't remember his name now, but the ex referee Italian, it used to be the referee in Italy. I can't remember his name. Collina, that's the one.
Yeah,
he was a one for stickler for the rules, and as far as I'm aware, he didn't get done for corruption at any time whatsoever. And I think he's the head of the referee side of things at FIFA as well. So he's got experience, so to speak, and it would have been ideal. And obviously, it would have been bringing him in would have meant the possibility of bringing in a more universal, at the start of anyway, referees from all over the place. Whilst they put in a scheme, like you said before, about from the ground roots, all the way from the ground roots up, of bringing the next generation of referees and making the rules pure and simple and not so complicated. Like the offside rule, literally one paragraph, no more, no if buts or maybes. This is offside. If it's his fingernail or his hair swishing in the wind, you get the benefit of fucking doubt. Move on. Handball is handball. If it's deliberate, use VAR. If you can't tell if it's deliberate or not, use VAR. You can tell slow mo or not if it's deliberate. If it's a penalty shout, in terms of going back to David Luiz against Wolves a couple of years ago, where he didn't make an attempt to take the player, and because he didn't do that, it was a red card. But if he had made an attempt to take the player and wiped him out, it would have been a booking. Change that completely, switch it back around where it makes sense, where if he doesn't make the contact, it's not a booking or a red. If he makes full intent to take the player out and knock the ball, it's a red. Things like that. Make the rules clean, clear, and simple. No more if, buts, and maybes, like a loophole here, a loophole there. None of that, because that's not helping the referees out at all.
No, and the thing is, why is it fair that players and managers have to come out and explain themselves after poor performances, but referees don't? I just think it's stupid. And just one quick thing, sorry, just before you carry on. I heard that Steve put something in there. If Mike Dean has anything to do with VAR, it would be gone at the end of the season. It's I heard that he might be staying on to carry on doing VAR and John Moss and all the older ones. But I don't know whether that's still the case anymore after everything that's going on behind the scenes there. But because they're not fit enough and old, young enough to run around on a pitch anymore, it doesn't mean that they can't be sitting behind a screen being a VAR. So I don't know whether that's going to be the case or not anymore. But there should be regulation.
It depends on how the Webb's mindset's at, where he wants to do to stamp his authority as.
Oh, is your sound gone?
One sec, microphone's gone.
I know, I can hear you fine. Well, I could hear him. Don't know what. But yeah, I do agree with you, Steve. Refs should have regulation. The worst performing refs. I don't know about being sent to the championship. I just think they should be, maybe suspended for a couple of games, and what's the Championship done to deserve that? The Arsenal Misfit said Kalina, sorry for the spelling, was just plain scary. He was. His eyes were just, they bore right through you, didn't they? They were like laser beam eyes. For offside, just use the feet. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Dean included that in a statement, I believe. What included that he wasn't going to be doing VAR, or what, that he was, Steve? I don't know. I don't know what you mean there. I didn't see that. I mean, if he puts out a statement, I generally just sort of just skip over it. I'm not that interested. But yeah, things that you mentioned it the other week, and it's one of the most annoying offsides ever with Bamford when he was pointing where he wanted the ball, and he was pulled offside, because you cannot score with your arm. So I mean,
you can't score with your fingertips.
Stupid. No, exactly. So yeah, things like that are just absolutely ridiculous, and it's not you're not got. I mean, offside is obviously there to stop the forwards having an advantage over the other team, but that's not giving you an advantage for putting your arm out.
No,
it's your feet. Like I say, it's your feet that you do the running with that gives you the advantage. But yeah, the whole thing needs a complete and utter.
We watched that League Cup final we watched that League Cup final on my channel a few months back, and the amount of offsides were literally being in line with the defender's arm was ridiculous. But in terms of what you said before about the referees not really coming out and explaining their bad decisions in the game, there's only two times I can say that's actually happened in the Premier League in my time. That was Mike Halsey when Arsenal played away to Fulham in the 04-05 season, and that was to explain why he initially gave a penalty against Arsenal and then went to speak to his assistant and changed his mind once he spoke to his assistant. And then obviously a couple of years prior to that was Paul Durkin and Man United versus Newcastle at Old Trafford. Shield got taken out by Tim Howard, I think it was. And because of how far away he was from the action, he didn't see it. He said, if I'd seen it, if I'd seen it, I would have given it. If I was closer to it, or my assistant was closer to it, and we've seen that what actually happened, we would have given it. Apart from them two incidences, though, we don't. The two protected. Mike Riley came in, got that role, and for the last 13 years has put things in place to protect the referees, his mates, to extreme levels. We saw last year, for example, Liverpool v Palace at Selhurst Park, the last minute penalty was given, and it was a dive. It was literally Jota jumped into the goalkeeper and got a penalty. And they won. Liverpool won the game. Vieira's gone over. He wasn't shouting and screaming this, that, and the other. He went over and he just asked. You could hear the microphone. He was asking, "How is that a pen? Can you explain to me? Because at the end of the day, this is my job on the line. If things go pear-shaped now, this could cost me my job." And all the referees do now, point and tell them to go away, piss off, basically. And if they don't, they get a fine.
Yeah, I know. I've just literally. So obviously before the show, which is sorry by the way for everyone listening on playback or obviously watching now, about the sporadic nature of the starting times of this show. It's not really possible for me to give you a specific time every single week because of the way I look after my kids and everything. It changes from time to time. The times I've got to take them back and stuff like that. So, but I've been travelling to and from the kids on the way to doing the show, and I've only just seen a tweet from Fabrizio Romano saying Gabriel Jesus is a done deal. I haven't actually seen that. He tweeted it out at 6:30. I was in the car at that point. It's 100% done. He's signed until 2027. Edu and Arteta, the key to the deal. And if there's a picture of him, it doesn't look like it's photoshopped in an Arsenal shirt. Is that?
Yeah, that's the old Arsenal shirt as well.
The old Arsenal shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, Fabrizio's been using that. I think he got one of his minions to knock that up for him.
So, yeah, I didn't realise that it was properly confirmed. Obviously, not by the club yet.
Oh, don't be silly. The club don't do things like that.
But they won't until they've done all the videos and interviews and all that. Won't they? But yeah, I've only just seen that he's tweeted that out, so I'm a bit behind the times there. So that's good news. Really good news. Stephen Denham just put a message in. Hi guys, I'm going to have to watch this back. I've missed too much. You can still watch the rest of it with us, Steve. You can watch the beginning bit later. Stan, I wonder how many Premier League refs will be officiating at this year's World Cup. Oh yeah, none.
Exactly.
I remember the days though when we did have some decent refs that were always at the World Cup. I mean, I say decent, but
it wasn't as standard. It's better standard than what we've got at the moment. Put it that way.
Yes, exactly. So I'd like to see some more, but not that I care anything less about refs really. But it was nice to have some British representation.
Was it 2006? We had Graham Poll representing us. 4 years later, obviously, as you said, Howard Webb. But as always, we always had that the top, whoever was the top English ref in the country. We'd always be able to send over to represent as an English ref to the World Cup or the Euros, respectively.
Mm.
And since Wenger came out a few years, I think was it his last season? Was it last season or season before last? We played West Brom on New Year's Eve, and Mike Dean had given a ridiculous penalty against Gibbs. I think it was the year before. Actually, it was the year we won the FA Cup, so the year before he left and all that. But yeah, he came out and said, "Look, come the World Cup. The World Cup's in a few months' time, or next year, whenever. I can guarantee you, no English ref will be at that World Cup." And he was right. And ever since then, in any major tournament, we haven't had an English representative refereeing in either the World Cup or the Euros.
Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing when you consider that they officiate in the supposed best league in the world, our refs, and none of them are good enough to go to a World Cup or Euros. That's pretty embarrassing, really. Steve's put, I'm not religious, but I'll be praying to Jesus. Yeah, I'll be praying every single week for him to score goals, mate, as well, or assist. Mike Dean being replaced by Man United, loving Howard Webb. Great, says Russ. Edu will probably be showing him around, and this is the tunnel, says Stan, to Gabriel Jesus. That's right, he probably will. And the Arsenal misfit, who was the last ref at the World Cup? Mark Clattenburg? I think it was probably Mark Clattenburg, wasn't it?
It's either Clattenburg or Webb, one of the two. What year was the Webb's one? Was it the South Africa, wasn't it? 2010. So 2010, 2014 would have been.
Yeah,
Clattenburg. Yeah,
it must be Clattenburg.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have too many problems with Clattenburg. I think he was half decent, wasn't he? Don't really have much beef with him. He was half decent. But yeah, that's an interesting one, really. I think. But yeah, and Steve also, going back to what I said before, Steve sort of confirmed that Mike Dean confirmed that he was going to be carrying on doing VAR in his statement. I don't know about John Moss and other ones like that, but I suppose in the interim period when they are short, it might be worthwhile keeping those older ones on to do VAR. Makes a bit of sense, I suppose, whilst they train up some new ones in the background. James, welcome, James. Nice to see you, mate. It says, evening, got a question for you both. You can have a Pizza Hut buffet with one current Arsenal player. Who's it going to be and why?
I don't think it's healthy for the player, but okay.
Well, it has to be a Pizza Hut buffet as well. Can't it be a Carvery or something? No, I'm joking. But that's an interesting one. One current Arsenal player. Oh, it's an easy one, actually, when you think about it. I think it'll be Kieran Tierney for me. He'll be walking in there with his carrier bag, and then he'll probably ask for a takeaway as well. Say, I've left too much here. Can I take away all these leftovers, please, in my bag? Actually, I think he'd be quite a good laugh.
Yeah.
Or you could have Ben White because all the birds he'll bring with him as well. That'd be quite nice. Yeah, no, probably. Probably Kieran Tierney for me. I think I'd have more in common with him than anyone else. I think,
Ramsdale as well, bit of a laugh.
he's a good shout.
He has that bit of a levels as well. He knows to have a laugh and all that. So
it's a good shout. Good shout as well. Ramsdale would probably be a good close second. But I think he'd be really down to earth, Kieran Tierney. I've seen it. Yeah. But that's a great question, James. Keep more like that coming in. I love them. Shane's put, who, in your opinion, will be the first English manager to win the league? How close can this happen? Great question.
Until Pep goes and Klopp goes, I don't think we're going to see that, to be honest.
No, I mean, it's not going to be any time soon, put it that way.
If you ask the only one who's going to be somewhat close to possibly achieving that, that's because of the finances, is Eddie Howe at Newcastle at some point.
That's good. Yeah.
That's only because of where he's at the moment. If he's still there by the time Pep and Klopp leave, and he's assembled a good enough team to compete for a title, we might actually finally see an English manager actually win this English league. How many attempts? But apart from that, I think it's will be a long time waiting, in my opinion. Apart from that, English managers, there's very few of them, aren't there now? Not many.
I mean, Graham Potter could get a move to a bigger club potentially at some point. If he carries on doing as well as he is with Brighton, he could get a move somewhere which would give him a chance. But yeah, I think I've been quite vocal with my sort of doubts about Eddie Howe long term. For many seasons now, when he was at Bournemouth, sorry. I think he just forgot that he had to get points after Christmas. He got enough points up until December to keep, and everyone's thinking, are they going to make it into Europe? Blah blah blah. They're flying. But he made sure he got enough points as quickly as possible, and then all of a sudden they went off a cliff after Christmas. So
that's going to be
about him. But
you may mention that's going to be a big thing for him this season. Big thing, obviously, because he came in halfway through the season. It took a bit of time to get things going. Once he did, obviously, they saw the season out the way they did. Are they going to go? Is this team going to go down that route of getting to the 40 mark as quick as possible, and then just do a Southampton and fall off a cliff? Because if they do, then we know our answer in terms of that question. It won't be him being the first English manager.
It's going to be really interesting to see how he copes with all this money. And they seem to be at the moment quite sensible with who they're buying. They seem to be doing it gradually.
Yeah, they're
not trying to go from like there up to there, just building.
They're not doing it else.
No, exactly. So it will be interesting to see how he copes with that. And he's never really had money ever before in the past. He's wasted quite. That's another point about him. The players he brought in when he was at Bournemouth, he spent a lot of money on, and a lot of them failed, didn't they? Very
all of Pulvicic, with all due respect. Was it Klein? Was it 25, 30 mil there? Solanke, he's only just this season gone in the Championship. At the Championship, there, that's saying something.
And he's been there about 5 or 6 years or something like that, and he's only just started to hit the ground running. Yeah.
Solanke, there's someone else in Liverpool they bought for 35 million, and it's like hadn't played a game ever for Liverpool, and he just took that risk because he never worked out again.
Yeah, so that's interesting as well.
Yeah.
James has put about his question. I'm going to pick Ødegaard. Think he can sneak me some slices so I can't look as fat. Tactical selection.
Jordan Ibe, that's it. Jordan Ibe.
Yes, Jordan Ibe. Yeah. Steve, the Arsenal Misfits, but I would pick Ramsdale. He's not a dual character. Very good point. Stan the Man agrees. Said Eddie Howe maybe. Steve, the Arsenal Misfits, said Eddie Howe probably has the best shot.
Yeah.
Shane, I think United. should have gone for Graham Potter. Possibly another good shout, but again,
But the thing is with Graham Potter, where he's at his career, does he really? I know it's Manchester United, the name and all that history behind it, but does he really want to go from where he's at Brighton at the moment, the team, a young, vibrant team he's got there, to a team a club in disarray, not just a team, a club in disarray that is United at the moment?
well, this is the problem. Yeah, this is the problem. I think he would have a similar issue to what the problems I think that Eric Ten Hag is going to have there. I think he might have had the same problems. Steve, the Arsenal misfit, said Howe made our manager look like a chump in the last game. He did definitely. They definitely did outplay us. You're right. I'm not sure that makes him a better manager as such, just because of that game. But yeah, he did. They totally outplayed us on that day. Howe bought well in January. He did. That's right. I say it was when he was at Bournemouth. He made some really dodgy transfers, and they just wasted a lot of money. Considering Bournemouth didn't have any money at all. I wonder how much. I wonder how much input he's got on Newcastle as well. I mean, I don't know. He might have been
coach, exactly. He's head coach. I assume it's someone else bringing. He'll have an input in terms of these are the sort of players I want. These are the type of players I want, and they're just going, okay, we'll go with that model, whatever, and we'll just pick players, and you just got to work with it basically.
Well, this is it, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how much input he's actually got. I'm sure he makes some, the suggestions, like you said, but whether he makes his final decision, I don't know. Chris Nixier once just said he got Jordan Ibe. Chris as well said, don't get the Graham Potter hype, to be honest. I think from what he's done to lift Bournemouth, could got more mixing between Bournemouth and Brighton now on the South Coast. What he done with Brighton, though, to get them to their highest ever league position, playing really, really good football, without a real striker, let's be honest, someone to actually put all the chances they create into the back of the net. I think he's done an amazing job, really. When you see where they've come from when they had Chris Hughton in charge and they just about escaped relegation on that last day, to now being right up there as an established top 10 team, like I say, playing some wonderful football, I think he's done a brilliant, brilliant job, to be honest with you. I think he's a really good manager. I suppose it's a matter of taste. James Johnson said, haven't Newcastle just got the recruitment guy from Liverpool? If so, I think he'll just be told you. Sorry, I'm going to need to put my glasses on. Sorry, James. Let me just do your comment justice. Haven't Newcastle just got the recruitment guy from Liverpool? If so, I think he'll just be told you do the managing, we do the rest. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I think it's Brighton the guy came from. Brighton recruitment.
Brighton, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shane, did you watch Vieira on what I?
Oh, you are what you were, basically. So the PT thing, yeah.
Just got what it means to play for Arsenal straight away. I haven't seen it actually. No,
I'll send you a link afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing of BT set, but basically, the idea is the thing behind it is basically to get a player in every episode, different player every episode, get all and literally up. Know the little rail things used to get like big clothes on and all that, hanging up and all that.
Yeah.
Basically, have all their shirts been from when they started playing football all throughout their careers. The iconic ones, like the ones that stand out for them in their careers. So from his first Arsenal shirt, his first ever Arsenal shirt, the away shirt in 97-98, Arsenal's Invincible shirt, obviously, and a couple others afterwards, like the 4-5 season. The Juventus shirt, the Milan shirts, and things, and the France shirts, and all that. And they ask him, basically, just goes through his career, how he felt at that time, what it meant to play for X club or X manager, at that point of his career. And when it comes to the Arsenal part, whenever it was asked about his favourite shirt, he kept going back to the first home one he ever wore in the 96 when he first came in 96-97. that red and that obviously when we won the title like the following season, but yeah, that red and white because it was obviously that first major step up in his career at that level, and obviously working with Arsene Wenger and obviously he said Arsene Wenger called me and said I'm going to ask you, do you want to come with me? And he came back and said I'll go wherever you go, boss. And then obviously throughout the career, and then goes to the Invincible season. He said we just felt like we could win any game. We could win any game. We had each other's backs. We didn't feel like anyone that anyone in that team in that season could come up against us and beat us in the league. And as the game's gone on and gone on, we got more and more confident.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, definitely need to watch that. Sounds great. Chris Nix, apparently Newcastle have 35 players. I can well believe it because I don't think they've sold any yet, have they?
No,
I mean,
they bought Nick Pope, didn't they, as well? Last week, Nick Pope from Burnley.
Yeah, 10 million. That was a bargain.
I didn't know he's 30 though. I thought he was younger than. I thought he's just over his mid-20s.
Yeah, but that's sort of just about entering your prime, really, for a goalkeeper.
For a goalkeeper, but yeah.
10 million.
10 million for. I mean, that's partly down to being relegated, but for 4 or 5 years as well.
Southampton have signed, I can't remember his name, but they signed Manchester City youngster goalkeeper for 12 million quid.
It was at Portsmouth last season, wasn't he? He's now gone back.
That's the only loan he's had, really, of any note. And 12 million quid they've paid for him.
Yeah.
And when you consider that they've started for Nick Pope for 10, that's absolutely ridiculous. And it makes you think what we actually are going to get for Leno when you look at that Nick Pope fee. Because he's obviously only got a year left on his contract as well. So, kind of, I just thought that was odd. I thought it was really odd for Burnley to sell to Moneybags Newcastle, the richest club in the world, by about 10 times, and they've only asked for 10 million quid. You think, yeah, of course you can have him, but it's going to cost you 25. Crazy, really crazy. Troy, what would you rate this window if we get Rafinha, Jesus, and maybe one more signing? Well, we have to include Vieira in that, Fabio Vieira.
Marquinhos is a youngster.
Yeah. So, and the guy from Emmerdale. So we've got the goalkeeper, Rafinha, Jesus, and Vieira. So we have to rate it on that. But if we maybe get one more signing, if the one more signing is Martinez or Tielemans. I mean, let me rephrase that. I think it would be different for me if that final signing is either Martinez or if it's Tielemans. Because I think we need Tielemans more than we need Martinez, personally. However, I do think we still need Martinez. But if we didn't get Martinez and we got Tielemans, I would make it virtually perfect. I mean, I'll give it a 9 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah.
If it's if we don't get Tielemans and we get Martinez, I'll probably make it an 8.
Yeah. I can agree.
Even though I'll be really happy with all of the signings, I still think we'll be a midfielder short. Do you agree?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I can't disagree with that at all.
So, let's put 1 or 2 more questions in the chat, guys, before we call it a day. If anyone's got anything you want us to answer before we go. Stan just put a comment in. If Edu pulls all that off this summer, we should all chip in and get Edu a top drawer barbecue with little shelves and shit. I totally agree. Do you know what? I think we've paid a little bit extra and get him all the little barbecue tools to go with it as well in one of those boxes. You know that you open up a nice wooden box and you've got all your tongs in there
and things like that in there. Yeah.
And maybe depending on, we can check the price to get them, how much it would be to get them engraved at the same time,
and also throw in a case of cigars as well.
Yeah, I think we could crowdfund that within about 20 minutes. Yeah, get all the on the box with all the tools on there, on the lid. Just get his name emblazoned on there with the date he pulled off all those individual signings. That'd be amazing.
Give him a nice glass of a nice bottle of red as well.
Shane, still think we need Martinez and centre mid more than Rafinha. Saliba is like a new signing. I totally agree.
I'm going to know what. Outside of our fan base, nobody touches on that in these Twitter spaces and all that. They all sort of gloss over the fact that Saliba hasn't played for the club. He is coming back.
Yeah, I think that's massive. But when I said I agree with that, I mean about Saliba being like a new signing. I don't actually agree that Rafinha is less important. I think with everything we've lost in attack and the amount of goals that we were lacking, I think Rafinha is going to be a much bigger signing than you think. I really do think he's going to be a really important player if we get him. I was a bit funny at first, and you remember from 2 or 3 weeks ago when it first came out, I was thinking, do we really need to spend that much money on someone that plays in Saka's position? And the more and more I think about it, the more I've come round to the idea that it's really important that we do have not just backup players, but players that you have to think the worst case scenario, that if Saka, God forbid, and I'm touching wood as we shall say this, he gets a bad injury and he's out for 6 months, you've got to have someone that can come in and be just as good, if not better, a proper first team player in each position, especially up front. I think it's really, really important. And considering the fact we have got these 5 sub rule coming in now, I think he's going to get loads of minutes. And we've all been so worried about the amount of minutes that Saka's playing. To have someone like Rafinha that can take those minutes and the burden off him is really, really important. But also the amount of games we've got coming up, and the fact that I think he's going to be used as an unorthodox striker as well in some way. I think Rafinha is going to be not just there to play in Saka's role. I think he's going to play a lot more centrally in a lot of positions as well. But yeah, I would put him just as important as bringing in another midfielder, if not more important actually.
Yeah,
I'll put him slightly more important than the midfielder. However, I'm not saying by saying that the midfield isn't really important. I really do think that. I've just said that in the previous answer. What I said. Still think we need Martinez. Yeah, I just answered that one. I still think we need them all as well. Russ, credit needs to be given to Edu and Arteta. I think so, if that's the case. So let's not get too carried away before they're all announced. But yeah. Stand the man. Just cigars, get me a walk-in humidor. We need another central midfielder, says Russ. Totally agree. When's the next quiz, Ryan? We'll come on to that at the end when we say goodbyes. Says Shane. Mane, 35 million plus add-ons. Jesus, 50 million plus add-ons. Both have 1 year. How the hell does that work? Well, only because of his age. I think purely simply because Mane, although he's still a fantastic player for Liverpool, was a fantastic player for Liverpool. He's what, 31 now? I think.
He's 30s. He's no spring chicken, put it that way.
He's not going to get any sell-on value out of Mane. So that's why. I mean,
this was Mane's last big deal, basically.
Yeah, and Jesus has not even properly entered his prime yet. So that's the reason. I think it's because of the age. And
remember, one Premier League club going to another, one club Premier League club to another as well. So there's sort of an excess there as well that they sort of add on as well. We saw with Ben White last year. Those the English tax and all that. There's a Premier League tax nowadays as well. So I think that's another. As I say, there's potential sell-on value of Jesus because he is 24, 25 now. If it weren't to work out in a couple of years, obviously we can obviously get him on, send him off and get our not most of our money back, some of it
If,
back.
I think
Worst case. I'm saying worst case.
I
Whereas
didn't.
obviously with Mane, there's no sell on value. He's in his
When
30s now.
my first reaction when I saw that what Mane went for and all that, I thought, wow, Liverpool's done well there. Personally, I thought, yeah, they've done really well there. To be honest, to get that much money for someone that desperately wanted to go, they had to get rid of him. They needed to recoup some money. Not saying that. I mean, he's obviously done an amazing job for Liverpool, but considering his age and the fact that he was really wanted to leave, I thought they did really well. Because if that had been Arsenal, would be ripping up his contract and letting him go for nothing. I think to get £35 million for Mane plus add-ons, I think it was quite a good deal personally. They had to sell him and they had to recoup as much money for him as possible because of obviously what they've spent on Darwin Núñez. So yeah, I thought, and it's 45 plus 5 plus 5 add-ons, so it's not quite 50. Because if you're going to put it like that, Mane was 40 and Jay was 50, so it's the same thing, but it's just 10 million more. And like I said, I think it's purely down to his age regarding that. And Stan said to finish off, Saka will go back to the left-hand side and Rafinha on the right. And quite happy with that. I mean, Saka could play anywhere, can't he? But that means we've got so many much more options up front next season. It's going to be really exciting.
Also, as I say, we were talking about Martinelli. Martinelli could be pushed down. He could be literally like we talk about strikers and all that. Verdi and Jesus playing across the front three. There's another one. Martinelli he can play across the front three as well. He can be pushed into that centre forward role during the game and all that, and see what he can do there as well. Smith Rowe, I should say, plays out on the left. He can also play. He can also pull back and play in that slot of where Odegaard plays as well, and help him out there as well. It gives different options for different formations as well. It's not just going to be a set formation for every single game. We're going to have different formations, and majority of the time, there's going to be times where we're going to see, for example, Odegaard and Smith Rowe play alongside each other with a party in behind them as the anchor in different formations where it's just them two ahead of him. And then you've got your forward three of Jesus, Rafinha, if you get Rafinha in, and Bukayo or Martinelli.
We could have the entire front line as a Brazilian. Some stages of games that'll be the case, with the substitutions and everything that's going on. We'll have an entirely Brazilian front line, which would be really exciting.
Remember when France won the World Cup and it was literally put in all the UK papers, Arsenal win the World Cup in '98. If Brazil win the World Cup, we have the front three.
It'd be amazing.
We've won it again.
That'd be fantastic. I'd be really rejoicing if that's the case. We'll call it a day there. Hello to Energetic Man 99. Sorry you joined us a bit late. You have to watch us on the catch up. Everyone that's watching us, please give us a like before you go. It's really, really important. You know it is. How many podcasts do you watch on YouTube? And everyone says it, and they say it for a reason. So please smash that like button for us. Stan just put, we now have variety, and that's what we've been missing, and that's exactly right, Stan. A great place to leave it. So thank you very much again, Ryan. It's been another good show. Back on your channel next week.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on my show that's usually scheduled for tomorrow. It's still, obviously, we've done this. We've got one scheduled on your channel on Wednesday as well, haven't we, Ryan? For me doing Greengrass. So I don't know whether I'm going to be doing one on my channel tomorrow. How much of the same stuff can you all watch and take? So we'll see about that. But anything else apart from the Wednesday one? Anything else coming up?
Obviously, got the Wednesday one at 7:30 UK time with myself, you, and Greengrass, maybe a new face, maybe if he's available. And obviously, this again on my channel next Sunday. I'm taking over hosting for next week, and any transfer updates every now and if there's any breaking news, I'll come on live and cover that quickly. The quizzes, in terms of Shane's question earlier about the quizzes, it'll be the next couple of weeks. as Mike is currently on holiday with his family. So once he's back home, he is fully committed to bringing back the quiz. And with the events of today, we will have a new champion every week. Put it that way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, my dog's just saying goodbye. Say goodbye.
Kyle.
Kyle. So yeah, thank you to everyone watching. Like I said, please smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like I say, new person in the chat there. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe before you go, and we'll look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care and have a good week. Bye bye.